Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. And we're having coffee this morning in my beautiful moon mug because today is the full moon and it is a full moon in Sagittarius and it's my birthday. So I've decided that this moon is definitely for me. And in that, the other aspect is that my moon sign is Sagittarius, and this moon is in Sagittarius. So many reasons I get to celebrate me today. And that is absolutely the theme of this reading. And all of these different decks wanted to come through today. And I've been busy trying to get them even just open so that, hello, Maggie. Good morning. Thank you for your lovely wishes. They were the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. Good morning, Tony. Thank you so much. So as I'm opening decks, so the unicorns were the first ones that wanted to come through this morning. And it's such a lovely, certainly appropriate. I am going to have a sip of coffee. Appropriate message for this day. So 2 cards from the unicorn deck came through this morning. The first one is refreshing oasis. Nurture yourself, gather your strength. And this reading, the theme is celebrating you. And we certainly are not taught to do that. We are more often taught to diminish the good things about us, diminish our gifts, our abilities. For years, thank you, Julia. Thank you, Francis. For years, I was told at age 19, you have the gift of wisdom. And I thought about that. And then it made great sense because through the years, people had said, I'm so glad you said this thing to me because, and I'd be going, I'm so glad that's what you heard. I didn't realize that's what I was saying. And so I realized that that gift came through me. But for years, I never would tell anybody that because it seemed so arrogant, so braggadocious, so conceited. But again, I was socialized into thinking that telling people the good things about me was not what I was supposed to do. And so I, for years, never really said much about it. And I am learning at the age of 68 today about how important it is to celebrate all the good things about ourselves because we are these magnificent creations. Also, something I'm learning how to accept ourselves where we are and love and nurture this physical vehicle. Also, something I've spent years beating up, loathing, despising because I was told it didn't um, it didn't fit into what I thought it was supposed to look like. Thank you, Mary. I lobe you too. I got to tell you, Mary, I say that, type that out so many times, that fat finger thing. So I get it. I either live you or lobe you, and sometimes I actually love you. But again, accepting all that we are. So the second card that came up from the unicorns as the beginning of this reading is access your gifts. Explore your treasure chest. Accept who you truly are. Accept the beautiful things that you and only you came into this world to offer. And know that you are perfect just the way you are. The next card that came up was perception. And that's a huge aspect to us really accepting who we are and allowing the perception of the world to fall away, going inward, connecting with Creator, the divine universe, the central sun, connecting with your higher power, and really getting a perspective, that observer view on you. Many times in life, I've been given the opportunity to step outside myself and look at me the way other people see me, which has been very necessary because as the best chameleon ever is what I've said I was throughout life. I depended highly on what other people perceived in me, what they saw in me to create the me that I was for that day. And because I was in that cycle of self-loathing, self-hatred, beating myself up, never enough, always too fat, never quite pretty enough, smart enough, tall enough, rich enough, any of the not build up things. And so our perceptions need to change in order for us to truly step into the power and our path and the gifts that we have to bring through. For the love of dragons said, the dragon's sword. Now that's gorgeous. And we're going to look that up because I think this is the first time I've drawn this. And this is about me, celebrating me. So I'm excited to see what the dragons wanted me to know about this. I just have to find that. There it is, the book. For the love of dragons. I don't know how that 8 decks that wanted to come through today. And that is, oh, that's the number 2 card. The dragon's sword. The sword of truth doesn't just cut with its blade, it also cuts with words. Consider your words carefully and then tell the truth. This is, again, we're celebrating us. We're bringing through the truth of who we are. What are you good at? What do you do well? What is your wave of flowing in this world that if all things were possible, your life would include and maybe even be led by that wave of what you're good at. What I'm good at is channeling. What I'm good at is peeling away the layers for people when they don't even know they're being peeled so that they can see that inner layer that needs to be seen much of the time in order to heal. The other thing I'm really good at is healing. It's why I became a nurse, and that fits so well for so long. I'm still a nurse. I just nurse people in different ways now. Dragons may be many things, but liars they are not. If you want to soar to your full potential and dominate your personal space with a wingspan of power, share your truth. It will set you and others free, even if it bites. So that thing, share your truth. Tell people who you truly are, what it is you get to bring into this world, and what it is, the gift that you are. Stepping into stillness. My power is born in the majesty of silence. That is the stillness within you. And much of the time, we don't allow ourselves to be still and really reflect on who we are and what we do. Last night, I attended again the Get Your Sexy On women's group, and it always has, and it's not about sex, it is about what is sexy about any woman. It is her confidence, her ownership of herself, that flow that comes through us when we are in who we are divinely in this lifetime. That's sexy. And again, it's not to do with sex. It is to do with you being truly in the flow. And at some point, we move, we dance, and get, because much of the time we've spent beating this physical body into submission. I remember wearing my jeans so tight I could hardly breathe. And I mean, just it's awful. It's awful what we do. And then the underwire bras so that the breasts, are where they're supposed to be according to society. And neither one of those things are healthy for us. And that's, we won't even talk about the other unhealthy things I've done throughout my life to try to bring this incredible vehicle, this creation, this divine creation into submission. And now I've spent years now really undoing what I wound up in that process, bringing myself back to alignment and health and flow in this body. And it's not too late. It happens. I am doing it every day, stepping into silence and stillness within ourselves. Be willing to get quiet and really be shown the truth about what we are doing to ourselves. Because again, remember, it is all about us. We are the ones who can make this shift in this world harder or easier, pricklier or more velvet, solely in our vibration. And our vibration depends very much on how we feel about us. Um, we can't think we're a piece of crap and vibrate at a high vibration. We're gonna vibrate at a piece of crap vibration. So one of the things that we do at this Get Your Sexy On is we talk about looking at our bodies in the mirror naked, dancing naked. We don't do that at the group, by the way. And accepting and loving, especially those parts of us that have not been acceptable in our minds by the universe, by the society. Um, Maggie said she went to find some stillness today because that's what she needs. And yeah, give yourself the gift of being who you really are. Wild woman rising, use your cunning. You know, women, and this isn't just about women, but I know women. Women are very, very perceptive. And that is a cunningness that we have. We want to utilize that, trust that woman's intuition to problem solve and problem solve about ourselves. I keep getting distracted. There's this magpie out in our back, and it just flew in underneath the covered porch and then out. Well, my sister told me as she was passing that she was going to come back as Magpie. And so on my birthday, I'm thinking my sister is letting me know that she's here to wish me a happy birthday. And so it is important for us to own the fact that we are problem solvers. We have the ability to see things in a different way because we are more in tune with that feminine intuition. That doesn't mean men don't have that. This just, well, it's the Wild Woman Rising deck. So there you go. It's about the cunningness, the ability to move through things differently than what the world would tell us we're supposed to move through. The butterfly spirit coming in, transformation. The world is in a transformation. And if we will truly own, this is the Sacred Forest deck, but look at, it's a woman in there, scantily clothed, you know, transforming into someone perhaps that accepts her physical body just as it is. You know, I teach community ed every semester, couple classes. And there was this beautiful English young woman in one of my classes, and she and I were talking on the way out. We were talking about body image, and she was a little fluffy and quite showy in her clothes and bohemian and just not concerned about what other people thought. And she said, you know, in the 1950s, the advertising agency decided to create a woman that was impossible for all of us to ever look like and make that the thing, and then begin to sell us all those things that were going to make us like that. And the woman created was Barbie. Barbie is a physical impossibility in her measurements. We cannot physically look like that unless we surgically enhance ourselves. I mean, literally, her waist is 19 inches and her bust is 40 inches. Her hips are like 36, 38 inches. I don't remember exactly, but impossible. And then tell us and sell us all of this stuff we need to make ourselves better. If you look at the television movie industry, that sick industry, by the way, that is now moving to South Africa because they're being exposed here for the filth, for the awfulness that is in that industry. And now they're moving to South Africa where they're not so regulated, and they're using the people there like they use the people here. But what I wanted to say about that industry was look at all these beautiful women in, you know, in the my age group that were just gorgeous. Melanie Griffith and Meg Ryan, Priscilla Presley, Who are the others? Oh, there's this one. I can't remember. She was Drew. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All who have had surgical reconstruction and all who look terrible now, but in their worth was all wrapped up in their looks because that's the industry they are in. And so they just have done one thing after another to work to make themselves look younger again, look better. And the truth is they don't look better. They look awful. And they have been misled into what beauty really is. They've been misled about the truth of that. This beautiful sacred forest I just pulled from the middle of the deck as we were talking. Acceptance. Acceptance of the truth and the magnificence of who you truly are in this world, the beauty that you are and exactly who you are. You don't need to do anything different. Thank you, Donna. She says, happy birthday. Have a beautiful day. Such a relevant message. And then Cindy says, good morning. Happy birthday. Love your message. Thank you all for your lovely wishes. And thank you for showing up today. It is so fun to have people on this when I'm doing the lives. And so often I am alone here. Well, not always, but I don't have lots of them. If this message resonates with you today, share it with your friends. If you're seeing me on YouTube, please share this with your friends. Help me grow my channel. That would be a lovely birthday gift for me, is to have it increase in my subscribers. The next, this is the sacred goddess or the mythical goddess tarot, is the Ace of Ecstasy. Beautiful, beautiful flow message. The happiness we get to be in ecstasy. Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I can't wait till you and I meet, Jonathan. I know what will happen. I'm just not sure when. I see this coming in, and this Sagittarius full moon, my moon is Sagittarius. So this full moon's happening on my birthday. My moon is Sagittarius, very high vibe, and much a creation by letting go of the old things that we don't love about ourselves. We don't want our lives to be. We don't want to keep revolving around. This is the time to let it go. The full moon is always an ending. But with the Sagittarius, this is also a new beginning, and focus on what you want. The reason I know we'll meet, Jonathan, is I see myself traveling the country in a vehicle of some kind. Not exactly sure what that looks like. Probably pretty funky, stable, but funky, because I love funky. That's who I am. My friend Johnny in Hawaii started remodeling this coffee shack he rented now probably 30 years ago. And it now is just this lovely, lovely place. When I walk into it, it is so soothing to me. It wraps its arms around you. And that's what people have told me about my home. It loves them when they walk in. And that's what Johnny's place does. He's got carpet that is big sea turtles throughout his house that was in a hotel on the strip in on Alihi Drive on the Big Island. And he said, I danced on this carpet. I think that's so cool. And the windows looking out at the ocean came out of Neil Young's house. I mean, and Johnny created this with so much love, as my house been created with so much love, that the funkiness is absolutely everything that I want it to be. And so that whole idea of ecstasy, the beginning of this new way of living within myself, within yourself, celebrating you and all you do well. When you see this, tell me two things that are lovely about you that you own now. That would be another lovely birthday present. The next card that came up is practice. This is the Wild Woman Rising, flexibility. Everything is not black and white. We are not always going to be performing at our best. Flexibility gives ourselves and our other selves, our people around us, room to fail, room to not do everything just right. And by them allowing them not to do everything just right, we allow us not to do everything just right. Again, in here, please post 2 things about yourself that you're going to celebrate moving forward. 2 things that are good about you, 2 things that you can love about you. I had a friend who is still a friend. We just aren't as close because we switched jobs. We live in different parts of the state now, but she's one of those forever friends. And there was a point in her life when she could not say one good thing about herself. And she's amazing. And her aura that I felt, I don't see them, but it was black. So much she brought into this life, so much she journeyed within this life of heaviness that she couldn't even. I look goofy in big feather earrings. That is not true. Sorry. I don't. It may be a belief. Julia is my friend who sends me feathers. And she said, I just want to create little earrings because I don't like to draw attention to my face. And her face is so lovely. Draw attention to your face, Julia. Goofy is not a word I would call you with big earrings. Your discipline and your faith. Lovely, lovely, Jonathan. Meandering pathway, flow. How are you flowing? You know, that is something that I have been learning because I'm a doer. The beingness of being a human being and allowing downtime, allowing things to flow into me and being just as I am and allowing that to be enough. Flow is easy. It's just learning how to get into flow for many of us has been a challenge. We were talking about the stillness last night at this women's group, about just sitting with ourselves and looking at the various parts and being present in life with our partners, with our family, with our friends, and being present with ourselves and the body parts that we may not think are acceptable. My belly has always been one for me that I loathed and cast a lot of disharmony on and dysfunction. Do you know I ended up with a bowel obstruction and had to have surgery? And it was one of those weird reasons that it happened. The energy was that I constricted myself so much that finally my bowels constricted within inside me. Julia said, I mistyped. I look good in big feather earrings. Yes, you do. I agree wholeheartedly. The next card that came up was Isis, High Priestess. That is owning your divinity. Like Jonathan said, celebrates his faith. That belief system that tells you you are a divine creation here. You are, I'm going to read on that one because that's a very powerful card, the High Priestess. Number 2. The benevolent mystical goddess of the people. Isis embodies fertility and nourishment of all things in heaven and earth. Beautiful Isis spreads her magnificent wings, navigating the realms of spirit with ease. She is the moon and pure intuition. Celebrate that. Celebrate that you are beginning to really own your connection to Creator, God, the universe, the divine spirit, whatever you call that higher power, because that is absolutely what is the most powerful aspect in us and the most helpful aspect to get us through this thing we call life. Donna says, I am a warrior. That is lovely, Donna. I am too. Let me caution you to watch out that sometimes warriors declare war on themselves. They're not in it for themselves. Someone else is always more important. I don't know if that's your truth. It's certainly been mine. The rooted woman says, the buried moon, the hidden feminine. The moon is very a feminine energy. And the feminine is, again, that quietness, that ability to receive, the yin, not the yang. And many religions teach women, number one, they're not good enough. Number two, that they have to do in order to be good enough. And the Christian religion will say, the Mormon religion is very much in works. The Christian religion will say, oh, you don't have to work for it. But a godly woman really ignores herself. That's how they form us into these dutiful little beings. It is time to break through and be only for you for a bit. It's like I would tell young mothers, you cannot do for your children unless you do for you. You need to take a break. You need to go out with the girlfriends. You need to get quiet. If you don't have enough money to hire a babysitter, develop a babysitter co-op with 2 or 3 friends so that you can take time for yourself. Jonathan says, we appreciate all of your transparency and how you communicate your shadow and light to us in the most harmonious and loving way. Thank you, Jonathan. Julia says, I'm a good photographer. Yes, you are. I've received the benefit of that and some fun with that. She takes some amazing photography, and she absolutely has had a life of adventure in that early on, photographing some major stars and really capturing the essence of them. So the last card that's coming up is from the Gateway Oracle. Being in the flow. I am in the flow of the universe. When you truly begin to love and accept all of who you are, you get to be in the flow. It is so easy to walk in that, so much easier. But we are very conditioned. As the thought occurred to me as I said, it's so easy. It's like, well, why do I keep undoing it? Good morning, Michelle. Why do I keep going back into trying to manhandle and make things happen and resistance? Go with the flow. It is because we've been conditioned. We have certain traits in us that make us, some of us, more doers in this world. And again, it is time to be the beer and allow. Yes, so many flow cards. Go figure. It's so easy, and yet it's so challenging for us to actually allow it. Especially the warrior, especially the one who is the worker bee, the one who keeps doing. We really want to allow more of that and getting in the flow of accepting the body, accepting our inner world. If you are messed up physically, there is likely a whole lot of energy, not likely, that's all we are. Energy's trapped in parts of your body that have really caused it to seize up. I did an automatic writing for a friend who really is suffering physically right now. And what came through was very much how this whole thing that she's been doing to her body through the years has really caused it to just freeze, because it's been so much back and forth. I love you, but I hate you. I want to love you, but I hate you. And pretty soon it's like that old dog. It just wants to do whatever you want it to do, but it does not know what you want it to do. And so it just stays. It just sits, and the body begins to freeze up, which begins to cause more pain. So this self-love thing that has been this thing coming in over and over really is for the benefit of the world. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The more you learn to love yourself, the greater the ability to transform this world is. Julia says, I choose the best retreats and held by the best people. Yes, you do. Julia was at my last retreat. I got another one, and it's just a 4-day one this time because many people have asked. It's coming September 12th through the 16th. It's going to be very immersive, very intense. And so if you're really ready to open up to the truth of you and really owning your power, I recommend you come to this retreat. Cindy says, I'm getting better at taking care of myself, not feeling guilty about it. My back and hips need surgery. Learning and loving nature, growing my food and preserving. I will be 66 on Saturday. Yay, Cindy. Hey, and Cindy, this friend that I read for is also looking at back and hip surgery. might want to visit with me a little bit and see what's really present there. Connect. I'm open. I'm willing. I'm ready. Guide me to your higher self and bring in and your companions, your guides, your angels, and ask what energies are present here. What energies are fueling this dysfunction and disalignment in my body? You will get those answers. And remember, spirit answers immediately. Generally, it comes in our imagination, and then we go, oh, I just made that up. Trust your intuition. That was an earlier card. Begin to really trust you, and flow will happen more easily. The lack of flow really is a self-distrust and an inability for us to really own the incredible vehicles we are. So, great. Cindy, message me and we will set up an appointment. I do a 10-minute free call so we can see if we can actually do some work together. And then we'll look at what moving forward looks like for us. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan says, you're amazing. And yes, I am. Just like all of you, we are amazing, especially when we're getting our sexy on, which is the flow. This is that sexy for me, that flow that I'm able to bring through when I start channeling, when I really am bringing through the truth of this universe that we live in within ourselves, our own personal universe. Thanks so much for joining me. I think we're complete for this 68th birthday for me. Whenever you're seeing this video, it is perfect timing. Thanks so much. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.